Welcome to the KBB Review podcast. I'm editor-at-large Rebecca Nottingham, and this is another of our very special Rising Star episodes where we meet the upkind superstars of kitchen and bathroom retail, all under the age of 30. Between August 2024 and March 2025, we're picking a monthly Rising Star to feature in the magazine, online, and this very podcast. Those 8 monthly winners then become the shortlist for the overall winner, which will be revealed at the KBB Review Retail and Design Awards 2025 in April. It's done with the support of our very good friends at Blum, and you can find out more about them at blum.com. You can also see all of our Rising Stars so far at kbbreview.com/Rising Star. So let's meet our Rising Star for January, Victoria Mich, a senior designer at Chisholm Design in Surrey. Despite only being in the industry a few years herself, Victoria has already become a mentor for new team members. Let me introduce you to our Rising Star for January, Victoria Mich, senior designer at Chisholm Design. Hi, Victoria.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So first and foremost, how does it feel to be nominated as one of the rising stars in the KBB industry?
Incredible. I really wasn't expecting it. So it's a great surprise.
Because obviously one of your bosses, the co-owner of Chisholm Design, obviously nominated you, Robert. Have you seen the entry or the nomination that he wrote about you?
I haven't. He briefly kind of mentioned it along with, oh, well done, congratulations, we've got great news for you. So he did say that, he said some really nice things about me. Not entirely sure what he said, but it probably did the trick.
Yeah, it was a very well written and very, very nice piece about you. And there's just some really, really lovely things. She's an exceptional team member in every way, creative, thoughtful, passionate, and it talks about how great your knowledge is on the sector. And I mean, it's just a fabulous example of what this award stands for. So let's go back to the beginning then. How did you wind up here in the KBB industry?
I've always had an interest in design and I've always been really creative, and that has always been my passion. So I went to university at UCA in Farnham and I studied interior architecture and design. So it was a great course, gave me some background in design. When I graduated in 2020, I came across this really lovely little company that was starting up with hiring new designers, and they happened to only be 20 minutes up my road. So I thought I would definitely give that a go. And I met Chisholm Design.
Lovely. Going back to your degree, I mean, obviously you're very creative. Design has always been a factor for your future career. But did you ever think you would be designing kitchens?
No.
No.
Honestly, even before university, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I didn't know if it was architecture, if it was interiors. After university as well, I wasn't really sure. I just knew that it had to really be creative, something that used all of my skills. And this was really the perfect job for it because it's slightly different. We don't do so many of the things that other companies do. I get to really focus on the design side because we've got someone who does the admin, we've got someone who does all the other bitty gritty bits. So for the most part, I do really just get to focus on being a great designer.
Oh, that's brilliant. Okay, yeah, because quite often in independent businesses, you don't have that luxury. You have to help out doing all sorts of parts of the job, don't you? But you get to focus on the creative side, which sounds perfect for you.
It didn't start that way. But when I first started, I was doing a bit of everything. But as we grew over the last couple of years, we started hiring a few more people. So we do have someone who does all of the ordering, and we have someone who works on all of the services and all of that side of stuff, perhaps the fitters and stuff. So slowly I got to do more and more of what I wanted, but I still have those skills, so it's great. But also I don't have to do sales, which is amazing.
I love it. Okay. You've been in the kitchen industry now for 4 years or coming up for 4 years. What is it then that keeps you passionate about the designing side? What do you love most about designing kitchens?
Well, for me, it's actually after we have a consultation meeting, and I kind of have like these few little ideas going on in my head as like what it could really look like. But when I actually put it all down onto that first version, and it's usually a bit difficult, and slowly, it kind of like starts coming together, and then I get this final like image of what the space looks like, and it's so good, and I always was so excited about it, and it's really, really satisfying.
And how many kitchens do you think, or do you know how many kitchens you've designed?
Funnily enough, last year I tried to keep count. So last year around December it was 100. I would probably double that number now.
Okay, so what keeps you going every day? Because look, you've done over 200 kitchen designs now, and you still seem super enthusiastic, really passionate about it. So what keeps you motivated and passionate? Is it the people? Is it the product?
Yeah, it's definitely a bit of both. Having a great team to work with is such a plus, because we're such a small business. So we're all really close together, and, everyone does such a great job. So it's only really me and one other designer, and we definitely bounce off each other quite a lot. But I also probably look at Instagram every day, and I follow so many kitchen faces, so many photographers, architects, interior designers, and it's just a well of inspiration for me.
Could you describe your most memorable project? What's the one that really stands out? Yeah, that one's put you on the spot, hasn't it?
So we have this one on our website, and it's probably one of the biggest projects we've worked on. And it's got a massive, beautiful kitchen, and it's got a back kitchen, which is, bigger than most people's kitchens. And a few other rooms that my colleague worked on, and it was an amazing project, a beautiful house. It's the first time I did a walk-in fridge, which was really cool. So it was one of those projects. It really packs in a punch. Another one we recently worked on, really closely with interior designers, and there's been a few that architects have really pitched in. So there's always something different, something new in each project.
Brilliant. And yeah, but I'm getting a vibe as well that you really like working with other people as well.
Yeah, it's always really great to kind of step outside of your own comfort zone, because someone else might have a completely different idea, and it's about merging, collaborating. We've worked with colour consultants, and we've actually worked with one for a showroom that we've recently designed, and that has been an amazing experience, actually. I should have said that instead.
Tell me about that, actually, because as part of your nomination, Robert did mention that you were like one of the lead designers on this whole new showroom. That's a pretty big job to give to somebody who's one of the younger members of the team, I would expect. So how did it feel, first of all, to be trusted to design the layout of this new showroom of theirs?
It was a little bit scary, and because it was building that was already done. We had some say over some things we can do within a space. The constraints were actually entirely different from what we normally work with, being a building that was going to be used for other businesses in the future. So it wasn't functioning as an actual kitchen. So that space had to work for even more things than what we normally have to consider. And Rob and Joe also made this decision right before they went on holiday. So they went away for 3 weeks.
Right.
And we started designing and putting it all together. And it was such a different process, actually, because we started with a showroom that we kind of already had, that we were reusing, mostly just repurposing cabinetry. So figuring out how that works in a room that's essentially been flipped over. And all of a sudden we've got 2 windows, and it's actually a big open space rather than a room. So that was a challenge in itself. And then we just kind of added more and more stuff on. So we added a bar, then we added a little boot room, we added a study, and of course we have our staff kitchen, and we show so many beautiful things in this space now. And it's such a great opportunity. But we also had to try and showcase as many different things as possible. just so we could show all of the clients. So having this literal mix and match of cabinetry and also making it look beautiful was definitely a challenge.
Fabulous. And what a legacy as well. I mean, you've been part of that. The other standout part of your nomination specifically was Robert described you as having become a mentor for younger members of the team. And I mean, considering you're only 27 yourself, that's everything that this award really stands for. Not only nurturing young people like yourselves and getting them into the industry and keeping them in the industry, but the fact that you're now confident enough, passionate enough and knowledgeable enough to then mentor younger people is just fantastic. So tell me about that. Is that part of the role that you really enjoy?
Yeah, when I first started, I obviously had no background knowledge in kitchens, and Rob and Joe actually taught me everything they know, and they put in a lot of time, a lot of effort into teaching me, so I really appreciate that. And then about I don't know, 6-8 months later, or maybe even a year, Jess, my colleague, joined on, and she was in the same position as me. We actually were on the same course, so we really knew each other.
Nice.
Yeah. And I ended up having to teach her because we were already getting really busy, and I taught her, and it was fresh to me, so I could relay all of the knowledge of what worked for me, what didn't work for me. And yeah, she got that, and she's amazing now. It's definitely so rewarding seeing like her work beside me now, and she just cracks on, and she's so great.
You've talked about the company itself briefly, but just let's get a bit more information about it. So it was started by Joe and Rob.
It was started by Joe, actually, independently. She started a company about 10 years ago. She did a project for her friend, kind of just happened to also fall into it. Her friend asked her for some design ideas. I think Joe has some background in interior design, and she kind of just started designing kitchens for her friends, people she knows, and they told their friends, and that it's still kind of more or less the same. We're still mainly word of mouth, but that's just Rob and Joe's like great reputation. She was working mostly on her own from her dining table, and Rob joined her about 5 or 6 years ago, I'm not entirely sure when. And they started hiring us designers about when I started. So it was a very small team. And then, as I said, we hired an office manager and an operations manager. So it's still just 6 of us. So it's still a very small team, but it's a good working team.
It sounds like a fantastic business setup, actually. Of the 6, is Inca included in that 6? She's the 7th.
She is the 7th.
For our listeners, Inca is the studio dog.
She's the studio guard dog.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is she not customer services?
We try not to let her scare people away. She's a big dog. She's a big dog. I think there were a couple nervous clients. She doesn't really like the doorbell, so she starts barking. She is an actual softie. She's all about her mum and dad.
Oh, love it. Okay. Look, it sounds like a really, really wonderful environment, and it sounds like a great place for encouraging, nurturing young talent, which is fantastic for the industry, and we need more of it. Back to you now. And what about your future? Where do you see yourself in, say, 5, even 10 years? What's the bigger picture for you?
I'm not sure about bigger picture, but we've recently started doing bathrooms. So I'm learning to design bathrooms as well. I've recently done a project where I did 2, like in the same house, and it was a massive learning curve. So definitely going to be learning more of that. And as you know, it's a whole other thing.
Absolutely, yeah.
So much to learn there. Other than that, I think I'm actually really happy where I am, and I love the business, I love the company, and I really love the people. We're like a little family together. And for the foreseeable future, I see myself staying there.
Yeah, that's no surprise to hear you say that, really, considering the nomination and everything I've learned from you about the business and the people. It does sound great. I look forward to seeing some of your designs being entered into the KBB Review Awards in the future. And, look, thank you ever so much for your time. It's been lovely chatting to you. And I guess all there is for me to say now is to wish you luck at the awards in April.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time, Victoria.
Thanks for having me.